On this vote, the yeas are 49, the nays are 51, and the motion is not agreed to.
U.S. military forces have conducted yet another strike in the Eastern Pacific, targeting an alleged drug trafficking vessel, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed Tuesday. According to Hegseth, the operation was carried out under the direct orders of President Donald Trump. Intelligence reports indicated that the vessel was actively involved in illicit narcotic smuggling, traveling along a known narco-trafficking route. The strike resulted in the deaths of 2 male narco-terrorists, with no U.S. personnel harmed during the operation. Hegseth shared unclassified video of the strike on social media, highlighting the precision and coordination of U.S. forces.
These are designated terrorist organizations, foreign terrorist organizations. Our generation spent the better part of 2 decades hunting Al-Qaeda, hunting ISIS. Well, as the president said, this is the ISIS, this is the Al-Qaeda of the Western Hemisphere. They intimidate, they terrorize, they extort, they poison the American people. The president's right. Every boat we strike is 25,000 Americans whose lives are saved because of the drugs that were headed in our direction. So our message to these foreign terrorist organizations is we will treat you like we have treated Al-Qaeda. We will find you, we will map your networks, we will hunt you down, and we will kill you.
The United States flexed its military muscle over Venezuela this week as B-1 supersonic bombers from Texas conducted a high-profile flyby near the South American nation's coast. On October 23rd, 2 bombers, call signs Barb 21 and Barb 22, came within roughly 50 miles of Venezuelan shores, keeping their ADS-B tracking on, making it clear they wanted to be seen. Each B-1 is capable of carrying more than 75,000 pounds of ordnance, sending a strong message to Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. Venezuela does possess Russian and Chinese surface-to-air missile systems, as well as F-16 fighter jets. But officials know any aggressive move would be met with overwhelming force. This comes after a Venezuelan F-16 approached a U.S. Navy warship recently, only to be warned.
As I've warned for many years, our opponents are hell-bent on turning America into a communist Cuba or socialist Venezuela, and you see what happened to those places. We don't want people from prisons. We don't want prisons dumped into our country like Venezuela did. They emptied their prisons into our country. We don't want that, right? And we're blowing up cartel terrorists. We're blowing them up linked to the Maduro regime in Venezuela and others. Look, it's not just Venezuela. But a lot of things are coming in. Look, Venezuela emptied their prisons into our country. Nobody wants that. They emptied their prisons into our country.
Look, I first ran for Congress so that when the drums of war started beating, I would be in a position to make sure that our nation's leaders fully consider the true cost of war, not just in dollars and cents, but in the sacrifices of our heroes and their families. Now, with those drums beginning to echo once more, I am here today to once again keep my promise. Because sadly, worryingly, infuriatingly, Trump has already started a conflict and now seems intent on expanding it. He's already threatened land strikes against Venezuela with seemingly no concern over the fact that only Congress, this body, not the president, has the authority to declare war. We are the ones tasked with deciding when and how we send our troops into combat. We are the ones the Constitution charged with that most solemn duty. Those are just some of the many, many reasons why today I am voting yes on the resolution to block the administration from continuing to illegally use military force within or against Venezuela. This should not be a partisan issue.
Consideration of Senate Joint Resolution 90 to direct the president to terminate the use of United States Armed Forces for hostilities within or against Venezuela, unless specifically authorized by a declaration of war or specific authorization for use of military force.
The clerk will report.
Motion to discharge SJ Res 90 to direct the removal of the United States Armed Forces from hostilities within or against Venezuela that have not been authorized by Congress.
Mr. President.
Senator from Virginia.
Mr. President, I will begin, I think, a few hours of floor speeches on Senate Joint Resolution 90, and I appreciate the work of Leader Thune and Leader Schumer in scheduling this matter for a vote today at 5 o'clock. I view it as a very important one. The act that I just read, the International Security Assistance and Arms Control Export Act, is an act that allows a single senator to file a privilege motion that can be heard on the floor of the Senate without intervening committee action under a simple majority threshold to address the most serious question that this body ever has to grapple with, question of war. The War Powers Act was passed in 1974, and it has a set of provisions in it. Those provisions include presidential notification of Congress when there are military actions undertaken that meet the definition of hostilities within the act. And the president has notified us, President Trump, like other presidents, has provided notice of military actions.
I recognize the senator from California.
Mr. President, I am proud to join my colleague Senator Kaine and Senator Paul in introducing this War Powers Resolution that provides that we have not authorized the use of force against Venezuela. We meet at a precarious moment when we might be on the precipice of war with that country. Today in the Caribbean or on its way to the region are the following military assets: 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the USS Gravely, Jason Dunham, and Sampson, the USS Lake Erie, a Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser, the USS Newport News, a nuclear attack submarine with torpedoes and tomahawks, the USS Iwo Jima, an amphibious assault ship equipped with a flight deck for F-35s, Ospreys, and attack helicopters, the MV Ocean Trader, a floating base designed for special operations, Reaper drones, Harriet jets of 5th-generation fighters, incredibly lethal aircraft. But this is not all. The largest aircraft carrier ever built, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is on its way right now from the Mediterranean. This means we will see upwards of an additional 24 Super Hornets and 24 additional F-35s. This warship will be accompanied by 3 additional destroyers, bringing at least 10 of America's best naval warships within striking distance of Caracas. All told, there will be more than 400 missiles and other vertical launch systems on Nicolas Maduro's doorstep. 115 Tomahawks alone, with an additional 70 coming with the Ford. Are we supposed to believe that this is only about striking speedboats?